Welcome to this Newsmax TV special. I'm J.D. Hayworth. He's called America's toughest sheriff, and Joe Arpaio doesn't mind that description. In fact, he thinks he's earned it. It's also earned him considerable criticism from the left, but great support from the voters of Maricopa County, Arizona. During the course of this hour, the toughest becomes the target, but it's all in good fun. Welcome to the roast of Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
I'm really pleased to be your master of ceremonies tonight. We've got some great folks who are going to join us on stage in just a little while to roast the sheriff, and he told me backstage, "Let me have it," he said. And first up tonight, Senator Lori Klein Corbin.
I have one little thing to say about our sheriff. I think all of us agree with the aging process now that frankly, the new 80, well, the 80 now is the new 60. Can you believe that this sheriff who looks 60 is really 80? So I asked him one time, I said, "What do you do? How do you maintain looking so young?" And he said, "It's the olive oil." Oh, he's Italian. So I said, "What do you do, bathe in it?" But anyway, it's an honor to be here with all of you. Thank you for coming, and I'm being nice to him. There's some more vicious people coming up next after me. Thank you.
Yeah, we were just talking about the sheriff's age during dinner. He's actually younger than my dad, so he's got something to look forward to. I was telling the sheriff that I played a soundbite when everybody was asking. Actually, everybody was asking about Steven Seagal running for governor. And then the sheriff, of course, has to get up and say, "Yeah, I might run too, there's still a possibility." And then he said, "It doesn't matter how old I am, I'd want to do 8 years. They make wheelchairs. I'd be like Ironsides." And then, of course, he said he'd have to mount a .50 caliber machine gun on his wheelchair. Here's another guy that knows a little bit about guns, a former New York cop, Representative John Kavanaugh.
Hello. Well, good politician doesn't go anywhere without his name tag and his personal microphone. My good friend, Senator Shooter, would you come over here a minute? And I want you to grab that empty chair right over there. No, this is not the Obama thing. Let me see that. Thank you. Sheriff Arpaio, get out here. I don't roast if I can't baste.
Already?
Yeah, come on, I get over here. The good sheriff, I don't want him to fall off the podium. Yeah. That's good. It's not one of those it's not a trick chair. You got a little interrogation?
What is this thing?
That's okay. I'm not the Federal Monitor. How many Hispanics did you pull over on the way over here, Arpaio, huh? Sheriff Joe. Sheriff Joe is the kind of guy that you gotta love, as long as you have papers. A lot of people say that I am the biggest media hound in the state of Arizona. When I'm accused of that, I say 2 words: Joe Arpaio.
Thank you.
Me and Joe have a common philosophy. It's a good philosophy for politicians. All publicity is good unless you're in handcuffs. Not only is Sheriff Arpaio the toughest sheriff in the universe, but he's also already announced, get ready to applaud, that he is running for re-election. Don't get too overconfident, since 75% of this audience is from out of state. So now, in addition to having the toughest sheriff in the universe, we will have the oldest sheriff in the universe. Let's give it up for Sheriff Joe, Sun City.
Are you done, John? What is it?
You're not that old. You got a few more minutes. So I kind of said to myself, what kind of changes would the oldest sheriff in the universe make to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department? Well, right off the bat, the headquarters will be moving to Sun City. And it occurred to me that he'll no longer be driving around in his chauffeur-driven black sedan, but he'll be switching to a golf cart. It also occurred to me that at that point in his career, he will no longer have his deputy sheriff bodyguards riding with him. He'll have to replace them with registered nurses who will not be armed with tasers, but with defibrillators. By the way, many of you might know this, but well, you all know this because sheriff doesn't do anything without making sure the media knows. But Sheriff Arpaio, as we all know, has been investigating President Barack Obama's elusive birth certificate. He's going to announce pretty damn soon that we now have definitive proof that Barack Obama is an alien. Not a foreign alien, but a alien. Sheriff Arpaio has been doing digital analysis of President Obama's ears. Anybody who's watched Star Trek knows what a Vulcan ear looks like. Or at the very least, Shrek. Amazingly, Sheriff Arpaio is one of the few figures in public life that can publicly challenge President Obama's birth certificate and not have his character destroyed by the media. But that's only because the media destroyed his character 20 years ago. Let's see. Oh, the Federal Monitor. The feds caught Sheriff Joe. Boo. Boo. Claimed he was racially profiling. Kangaroo court. Federal overreach. We know the routine, right? And they have appointed to watch Sheriff Joe a federal monitor. This is kind of like getting detention in high school. And we can tell right now, by the way, is the federal monitor still going to let you do them sweeps?
I'll respond to you when you get done.
All right.
This is.
What did you, you asked for it. What did you,
No, my job.
What do you call them,
No,
sweeps?
wait a minute. My job is to roast you after your.
all right.
You know, you're John.
All right.
You're going too long here.
That's all right. I'll be done in 3 cards. All right. How many people want me to sit down? How many people want me to continue? All right.
John,
just to show
wait,
you.
we got a lot of roasters.
We got till midnight. Just to show you. They said I had a half hour. I'm cutting it down to 15
Really?
minutes. Just to show you how unreasonable the federal monitor is, they're already demanding changes. First change is that when Sheriff Joe sends his new deputies to the academy, he will no longer he will no longer just train them to do the Miranda warning in Spanish. He will have to teach it in English too. And the sign over the booking intake door in the jail, it will have to have welcome and just not bienvenido. And with that, adios.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. I can't.
Welcome back. Politicians, including recovering politicians like me, have been known to toot their own horn. But here's a politician named Horn, roasting Sheriff Joe Arpaio. It's Arizona Attorney General Tom Horn.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out the man of the hour, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Joe, and I mean this, I'm really surprised to see you up this late. I would like to thank the Phoenix Civic Center for hosting the event this evening. I apologize for any inconvenience, as half of the kitchen staff was arrested upon arrival of Sheriff Joe Venizelos. When Joe and I were walking here from the parking lot tonight, we caught 2 FBI agents following us. The problem was we didn't know if they were following Joe or following me. Most organizations would not be able to get distinguished speakers to roast America's toughest sheriff. And it is clear after looking at my fellow presenters assembled here that the Western Conservative Conference is no different. Because of a budget crunch, the sheriff's office is cutting way back. No more green bologna for prisoners, just an extra beating at supper time. Sheriff Arpaio, it is apparent to everyone assembled here tonight, and especially everyone in the Attorney General's office, that over the past 40 years in public service, you have touched so many people. We know this to be true because many of them are now pressing charges. Joe, I want to be just like you, re-elected. Joe and I also share the same protesters, advocates of illegal immigration. But Joe, you need to stop calling me and telling me that you want your protesters back. Okay, a few serious words. He's been called America's toughest sheriff by those of us who admire him. But Joe is on the receiving end of a lot of negativity from liberals who revel in defaming him. Over at the state's newspaper of record, they can't refer to the sheriff without changing his first name from Joe to controversial, as they unsuccessfully attempt to demean him. Those of us in this room know the real reason for their actions. He's a conservative Republican. When inmates complained about the lack of coffee, Joe told them this isn't the Ritz-Carlton. If you don't like it, don't come back. Joe saved money on electricity by making prisoners power their TVs with exercycles so they could watch the Disney Channel. At one point, Joe piped videotapes of Professor Newt Gingrich's Renewing American Civilization lecture series into the jails. When asked by a reporter if he had any lecture series by a Democrat, Joe, who's always quick on his feet, responded that a Democrat lecture series might explain why a lot of the inmates were in his jails in the first place. I'm proud to call Joe and his wife Eva my friends, and I join you in giving them the applause they have so richly earned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me talk a little about Joe. I met Joe in Mexico City back in, I think, 1972, wasn't it, Joe, when we met, when you were at a DEA down there, 1972? Anyway, first time I really got to know Joe was when I was retired also. And Joe calls me. And he said, Mom, he said, I'm firing my people out here, lousy deputies, and the merit system puts them back to work. What am I doing wrong? Remember that? I told you, Joe, what are you doing? And he said, well, I fire them when they make a screw up. I said, this day and age, you can't do that, Joe. You got to catch them about 7 or 8 times, document it, put it down, and then fire them and it'll work. And he did, and it worked. So it wasn't too long after that I got another call from Joe. And I don't know whether he remembers it. Like all the stuff he's gone through, it's difficult to remember. But anyway, he called me and he said, I'd like your opinion. I'm thinking about putting my prisoners into pink underwear. And he said, what do you think about it? And I said, well, Joe, I'll tell you what I think. I said, the media is going to rip you a new rear end, but the public will love you, so go do it. And he did, and you know the result. They did, and he did. So. And then he came up with the bright idea of about $2 bologna sandwiches for the prisoners. And I think Joe and I follow the same philosophy, that you don't have country clubs when you put prisoners away, where they live better in the days than they did before they got there. They're criminals. They deserve punishment. And I love Joe when he has the intensity for them, when he has bologna for them, and I respect him for doing that. You know, when we who are elected officials were sworn in and we take an oath of office that we will uphold the law and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the law of this country. As a prosecutor, I respected the laws. I took a lot of heat for it, so is Joe taking a lot of heat for it right now. They're out to get him. They don't like him because he goes after illegal immigration, enforces the laws that they will not enforce. And then the big deal, they talked about a fence out here. You know how big that fence is they put down here to keep the illegals out? 37 miles, and that's it. They're not going to put any more down, and they won't do it. Joe tries to enforce the law, and what do? They come after him and try to destroy him. And thank God, Joe, they haven't been able to do it, because we need people like you who will stand up for what's right. They took an office under oath to enforce the laws, and they refused to do it in certain instances. In my view, that is perjury, lying. But nobody's got the guts to do anything about it. That's one of the problems we have today. We have few people with courage. So, Joe, I just can't roast you. I can't kid you about you. I can't do it. I respect you so much. And you just keep running for sheriff. You've got a lifetime job. We're about the same age, so I've retired. One of these days, you're going to have to do it. But I wish I could tell some other things, too, but I can't. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, it's my pleasure. I've wasted my 5 minutes here talking. But I just want you to know I love this man. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Sheriff Joe Arpaio's Roast. In the year 2010, I stood shoulder to shoulder with Sheriff Joe for border security, and we had another important ally in the Arizona legislature, State Senator Russell Pierce. Now, former Senator Pierce recalls an earlier point in his career when he was Sheriff Joe's chief deputy.
Sheriff Joe has this reputation, as you know, and I've heard it, and everybody else has said it up here, you know, I mean, we go beyond the world, the galaxy, and beyond. But I want to tell you a little bit about Joe's soft side. As you know, I used to be his chief, and we were pretty good friends. And after I left and so forth, and Joe called me one day and let me kind of hang around, and we were out to a homicide scene in the river, and there was a young man laying there. He was a hometown hero. We all kind of recognized him. And what concerned me, though, is he had on some lace underwear and a bra and had a ribbon in his hair. You could see a little makeup. And they had this Obama T-shirt on. And so I was telling the sheriff, you know, Mr. Tough Guy, And I was telling the sheriff, the family's already been called. They're on their way. You can't let them see him like this. He said, you're absolutely right, Russell. Get that Obama T-shirt off from him. So, so just want you to know there's a soft side to Sheriff Joe. Just before you let him have it on the other stuff. You know, he's known for pink handcuffs and pink underwear and chain gangs. He rides with his own posse. And I got going through all this. I thought, are we roasting Joe or a rap star? But Joe Arpaio has been called almost everything in the world, unimaginable kind of stuff. But show the one thing you haven't been called yet is governor, and it's not too late. 2022 is just around the corner. So, you know, when the voters of Maricopa County throw a wrinkle into law enforcement, they really throw a wrinkle into law enforcement. I mean, I've seen younger faces on money. He has more tents than Cabela's in his jail, and their green bologna and style meals are apparently catered by Dr. Seuss. I do not like tent food, y'all. I do not like green meat, y'all. I do not like my fruit with fuzz. I do not like the heat here, cuz. I do not like sheriff's men. I won't come back after my 5 to 10. So, in all fairness, Joe is, you know, getting up there in years, and I know that he has a picture of him and White Earp when he had his first badge pinned on him. And I appreciate that long tradition, an old tradition of law enforcement. You know, you've always heard the story about that smile on Mona Lisa. Joe gave Mona Lisa that smile. And it's fun to pick on Joe, and it's fun and it's enjoyable that he takes it so well. But I want to tell you, I usually have breakfast in a little restaurant in Mesa called Cindy's. And I go there because they have a John Wayne room. So I feel like I can sit in that room and have my breakfast with John Wayne. And another great hero of mine is Ronald Reagan. You know, the greatest president in modern times. Well, Sheriff Joe is also a hero of mine. And he's the greatest sheriff in modern times. And I'm grateful for the courage that he has for standing up, the attacks that come on a daily basis. And I'm also grateful to that sweet wife he has, Ava. And Ava, you got to quit starting that car for him. Enough's enough. Thank you, Sheriff Joe. God bless America, God bless Arizona, and God bless Sheriff Joe.
I do have a couple stories about the sheriff. First and foremost, I don't know if you knew this, but between the time that he worked at the DEA and the time that he became sheriff, he actually drove a limousine. And do you remember when the Pope came to Arizona? I don't know if you remember that, but actually Joe was driving the limousine. And they had a private jet come to the airport, and Joe drove the limousine up, and the Pope got out of the jet, and he came down to the limousine, and he said to Joe, "I've never driven a stretch limo. This is really neat. Would you mind if I got a chance to drive?" And so Joe didn't want to disappoint the Pope, so he said, "You go ahead and drive." So Joe got in the back seat, the Pope started driving, he was speeding on I-10. DPS officer pulled over the Pope, knocked on the window, and his eyes got real big, and he was going to write him a ticket, and he went back to his car, and he radioed in, and he said, "Get the chief on the line." Chief got on the line, he says, "Chief, I pulled a guy over, he was speeding, he was about 25 miles over on I-10. He said, "Well, give him a ticket." He said, "Well, I don't think I better do that, he's a pretty important guy." And he said, well, who is it? Is it the mayor? He said, no, it's not the mayor. More important than the mayor. Is it the governor? No, it's more important than the governor. It's the president of the United States. He said, no, he's even more important than the president. He said, who could be more important than the president? He said, I don't know who he is, but he's got the Pope for a chauffeur. So then Joe decided that he was going to run for sheriff. And while he was running for sheriff, he started speaking on a street corner, you know, one of those little kind of revival meetings. And he was speaking, and people couldn't see him. He's a little shorter, you know, and they couldn't see him in the crowd. And so he looked around, and all he could see to climb up on there was a big truckload full of horse manure. And so he shoveled it out, and he put a plywood plank on top of the horse manure, and he climbed up on top of it, and he started speaking. It was a great speech, and there was a guy in the audience, and he said, "That's the darndest thing I've ever seen, a Republican speaking on a Democrat platform." Well, the last thing I want to tell you is that when Joe became sheriff, he had to learn some diplomacy. And in fact, his underlings talked to him quite a bit because he'd offended a few people. And they said, you got to learn how to be a lot more diplomatic and a lot more caring, a lot more understanding. You can't just blurt things out. So anyway, they found out that one of his guys' mother had passed away. And so Joe said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll be very, very diplomatic. And so he lined up about 10 guys, and the guy that's mother had passed away was Deputy Smith. So he said, he lined them all up in a straight line. He said, all of those of you with living mothers, step forward. Not so fast, Smith. Arizona loves Joe Arpaio. America loves Joe Arpaio. And every time I go anywhere across the globe, and I tell people that I'm from Arizona, they always say, do you know the toughest sheriff in America, Joe Arpaio? And I'm proud to always say, you bet I do. Joe, this one's for you.
I'm going to be brief, I promise you. A couple of things that you don't want to say to Sheriff Joe. One of them is, Randy Perez is a nice guy. The other thing is, Sheriff, will you sing I Did It My Way? Do not ask him to do that. Anyway, yeah, I really share the sentiments of several of us tonight. It's tough to roast Joe. It really is. He's been a great friend of mine, and I met him when I was Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal. He helped me out with so many things. And then when I was chairman of the Arizona Republican Party, he kept me sane. And I will tell you one thing about this man. When you are his friend, you are his friend. And he has been a good friend of mine for the last 21 years. And I hope we get another 21 years. And it's an honor to be here tonight, Sheriff, to be with you. Thank you, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and thank you all.
Sheriff, can I get you to come sit right here again? I know I'm the youngest guy up here by about 3 times.
We can do whack me?
You know, they say you're Maverick. Your hard as nails, Sheriff. You know, I was thinking when one of the other guys was talking that since you're the sheriff of the universe now, we figured out, or I thought about why you know Obama is an alien.
That's a good one.
I was reading a news article, and the sheriff quoted that he wanted to keep running, but he might not because he said 2 reasons. My memory is not as sharp as it used to be, and my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. The sheriff has been reelected multiple times, and you keep talking about pink underwear. If you're reelected 4 more times, you're going to be talking about pink depends. I want to thank Sheriff Joe Arpaio for being an amazing man and great leader. You have so much wisdom that you could teach us, and I think everybody in this world could learn from you with your morals and your values today. So I want to thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
We've heard from the rest. Now we have for you the best. The response by the roastee, Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the toughest sheriff ever, anywhere, of all time, ever, Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So do I don't have to talk in here? Hey, I'm already wired up. Wonder who's been listening to me at my side marked. But anyway, thank you for the Hero Award. This is a great organization, and I'm very humbled for you recognizing me. This is supposed to be a roast. Nobody's roasted me yet. Probably afraid, I have a gun and badge. That's what they're worried about. So let me go down the line. I don't make notes. I got the congressman here, great congressman. But I ought to be happy he's in Congress. And great family. And Matt, thanks for all your support. And do good down there in Disneyland, will you? Huh? You say anything bad about me? Did you say anything bad about me? Not about you. I'm supposed to be roasted. What is this? It looks like it's a retirement ceremony. I can't figure this one out. Looks like my last shot. Anyway, Bob Corbin, we met in Mexico City in 1972. I was the regional director there. I see Bob, I was in the embassy, that was my office. And someone said there's two people from Arizona want to see you. I didn't even know where Arizona was. I didn't even buy him coffee. Who cares, a guy from Arizona? But coincidence that we joined forces, you became Attorney General. I was agent in charge here of the Federal Drug Enforcement, got to know Bob even. By the way, since Horn has left, I'm going to say you're the greatest Attorney General. And Lori Klein, I've known Lori. I call her a senator. Once a senator, always a senator. Why do they always call ex-governors governor? And yet they don't call ex-senator senator. I can't figure that out. You're elected, right? And I expect to be called sheriff the rest of my life, even though I'm not the sheriff. So anyway, Laurie, thank you for everything you do. Yeah, then we got Russell, Senator Russell. Thank you for everything you've done on the state, Senator. John, your hair is all screwed up. Your hair is, did you go on CNN? His hair went, did they give you a hairdo when you went up there? He was bragging. He was on Anderson Cooper. I get on these guys every hour on the hour. This guy gets on one day. Oh, I was on CNN twice. John, I want to thank you for putting that chair up there. What made you do that? I mean, why did you do that? What? Oh, well, I'll say this, Mr. President. I want to congratulate you for the big arrest in Mexico yesterday. Having served 4 years there, I know all the intricacies, the politics. Thank you. Maybe you ought to go to Mexico more. Because it always seems as big arrests are made when you're there. Big coincidence, but that's okay. Also, Mr. President, I'm the elected sheriff. You can send all your feds after me, try to destroy my constitutional authority, but it's not going to work. Okay. Number three, I met you before the birth certificate investigation. I met you at ASU in the basement where nobody could see us. And the only thing I ask you, if you remember, why do you keep calling Vice President Joe Biden Sheriff Joe? I'm the only Sheriff Joe around here. And he really looked at me, I'm serious, he looked like I was nuts. He forgot the teleprompter. So anyway, Mr. President, I'll be okay. I don't know about you, but I'll be all right. But anyway, Thank you for putting that chair. See, you don't remember the convention. You were there? You weren't there. I was. You were there. Remember, what was it, Clint Eastwood put a chair up there? Huh? He took a lot of heat, right, on that? Huh? I'm not going to take any heat. I'm not running for president, so I don't care what they say. Anyway, somebody made fun of my age. Very sad. I don't know who did it. Most of you guys. You did? Russell. Yeah. Russell? Yeah, well, I'm 20 years older than he is, but he looks like he's older than I am. But so don't worry about the age. When I'm in Sun City, I tell everybody my age. I'll be 82 in June. When I'm in Scottsdale, I'm 39. So they're going to go after me. They're going to throw the age after me. Good luck. You know, was it Dole? They sold Viagra when he left office. Remember that, Senator Dole? I had Senator Dole in my tent. I had Phil Gramm of Texas. I had the governor of California. And I had McCain. All visited me in the tents and said, if I'm the president, I'll put tents up from here, the whole country. Of course, they all lost. Nobody wins when they come to see me in a tent. Tried to get Hillary here 3 years ago. I tried to, so it didn't work. But to be really honest now, I want to thank all of you. You give me the strength to keep going. I'm not going to be concerned about monitors, all that garbage. Federal judge thinks I need monitors. So it's not, I'll put up with it, but it's not going to matter. I got a great soundbite that, you know, the White House monitors me, the Attorney General Holder monitors me, the ACLU monitors me, the media monitors me, but the biggest monitor is my wife. So if I can put up with my wife, you think I'm worried about some Mickey Mouse monitors trying to run my office? I'm elected. I report to you, those that are from Maricopa County, report to you. You're my bosses. I take that very serious. We're going to fight this to the Supreme Court. No one's going to tell the elected constitutional sheriff what to do. That's my big battle. Then the other battle is calling my deputies racist, and I can go on and on. My deputies are not racist. We're equal opportunity. We lock everybody up. Doesn't matter who they are. So that's another battle I have. But anyway, I want to thank all of you here. And I'm a little humble. Let me say this. People say, oh, sure, if you're the greatest this, you're the greatest that. You know what? How I survived? I don't have all these degrees, degrees, criminal justice. I came up the hard way. Worked hard. This country, you can be whatever you want if you work for it. And, but my secret weapon, other than my wife, is common sense, life experience. That's all it takes. Common sense, life experience. And one more thing I have, which, since I'm Italian, worked in Chicago on the mob. I could go on and on everywhere I work. But one thing I have is just a little fight. I don't like to surrender. And that's a little, I don't know what you want to call that, but that's one little thing I have to my philosophy. Always fight for what you think is right, and you'll succeed. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. I'm J.D. Hayworth for Newsmax TV.